His first few weeks in office, the president's foreign policy actions and words are making waves around the globe, from our allies to adversaries. Let's bring in Rabbi Chaim Mentz from the Chabad of Bel Air here in Los Angeles, the foreign desk editor-in-chief Lisa Daftari, and former State Department Deputy Special Envoy Eli Kohanim. Thank you all for coming on. We appreciate it. Rabbi, to you first. I mean, Trump said all hell will break out. Hamas now agrees to release 3 more. I guess he wants them all on Saturday, but they're agreeing to go back to at least the deal, the framework of the basic deal on, is it enough to keep all hell from breaking out? And is it a gesture in the right direction?
It's a gesture in the right direction for Israel, but not for our president. Our president said straight up, we want them all out. I want my American hostages out. I want them all out. This is not going to be drip by drip. He's telling the world, I'm going to do something. When Saturday comes 12 noon, the world is going to be asking, what now? Is Israel going to go and say to our president, say, we got 3. Let's be happy. We can get a few more. Come on. I don't want us going in guns blazing and killing all the other hostages that are there because that's what they're going to do. No. Or does our president actually have a plan to go and make sure, I want every single hostage out, including the Americans?
But the plan has to be for Israel to go in, because it's not going to be anybody but Israel. And if Israel, for the time being, is happy, then the all hell thing kind of goes out the window, at least temporarily.
Israel wants to get every single life that they can back, any which way they can. They don't want to go in guns blazing because they know that they'll kill those that are still alive.
Meantime, the Wall Street Journal, Lisa, writes the following here. Arab states wake up to the fact that Trump means what he says on Gaza. It goes on to read, Egypt has launched a diplomatic blitz to corral support for an Arab-led and funded initiative to rebuild the Gaza Strip, setting aside old political concerns in hopes of boxing out a Trump plan that is wildly unpopular across the Arab world. In other words, whether Trump does it or somebody else does it, it looks like it's going to get done, and that's the fire that Trump lit.
That is all that he wants. He wanted to put their feet to the fire, as you said, and say, enough with the rhetoric, enough with the protection of the Palestinian people by verbally only. We need a plan. Look, I was brought in to help out with the rollout of the Abraham Accords, and if you would have told me that there's something like the Abraham Accords that will be signed by moderate Arab states, I would have told you you're crazy. But it happened. It's because Trump had an out-of-the-box idea, and it solved the problem of at least getting countries to rally around Israel for the future. Now we're seeing something else. Trump saying, here's another idea that's outside the box. And if you have something better, do it. But he doesn't care how it starts. He just cares about the results.
How it finishes.
Results. Oriented.
Meantime, Ellie, the Wall Street Journal again here, putting your State Department hat back on, if you would. China tries to play the role of peacemaker in Ukraine as President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin signal they are prepared to start negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. China is pushing to play a role. China remains the biggest concern to the United States. Any general will tell you that. But the fact that she wants to help suddenly is interesting, is it not?
Trace, it is indeed interesting. And within 3 weeks of coming into office, President Trump is putting out fires all across the world. He has said that Putin would never have invaded Ukraine under his presidency, and he didn't when President Trump was our 45th president. So right now, President Trump, again, within 3 weeks of coming into office, he's already got he got Russia on the phone, he got Putin on the phone on the same day that he got Zelensky on the phone. And we know that President Trump is already able to de-escalate in Europe, and he's working towards a peace plan and really bringing an end to a war that under the Biden administration, we just saw no end to it.
Yeah. And I want to talk to you now, Rabbi, as a peacemaker, because Trump said this about Putin and Zelensky and the negotiations going on in Ukraine. Watch.
I think we're going to be able to do something. We're working with President Zelensky and with President Putin, and my impression is that I know that President Zelensky wants to make a deal, and I also feel that I know that President Putin wants to make a deal. I wanted to know that before I began any detailed discussions.
I mean, we just talked about this, the fact that Hamas and Israel are kind of going bit by bit here. Is there enough desire, do you think, and when you talk about Zelensky and maybe Xi and Putin kind of getting together, is there enough desire to end this war?
Oh, 100%. I mean, both sides are losing hundreds of thousands of people. I know what's going on in Kiev because some of my rabbis live there, and they tell me the disaster, what's going on in Kiev. The number one thing is that right now is our president is telling to everybody, I am going to be the sheriff, and I'm going to go and have everybody sit down, and you children are going to figure it out. Xi is now on the outside. He's begging to come in.
Right.
He's very weak now.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the president of the United States saying, I don't know if we're going to go and have a summit in China. We may do it in Saudi Arabia. He's calling the shots. But these two children, and unfortunately we're calling children because this war never should have been, Putin and Zelensky, they're going to have to go and make peace.
Are you surprised that diplomatic chips are falling into place the way they are now, Lisa?
Somewhat. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly, and I'll be honest, just as a student of foreign policy, you just see as he's coming into office, our friends are taking a step forward, our enemies are taking a step back. And I did say this before, that he is trying to reinstate the American brand of deterrence, the American, where we don't grab the Houthi missile in the air and pat ourselves on the back for it. We don't allow them to take the first strike. And the way that he is really reestablishing that in under a month of being in office, it is surprising that it is working this quickly and that, these dictators around the world are responding in the way that they are.
Ellie, I got to go, but what are your big concerns? Two big concerns, Israel and Ukraine. What do you worry about over the next several days?
I have to tell you, I'm not worried because we've seen with President Trump back in office peace through strength. And he has taken every step to, again, stabilize the world, put out the fires, and hopefully move us to prosperity in the country, which is his overall goal. And I see us getting there.
Ellie, Rabbi, Lisa, thank you all.